But from bee flies in the sunshine, we are in a dark, hidden, secret location near Vachwen. And just outside there, outside of where I'm standing, you'll see our camera operator, Steve. He's our wildlife camera operator, and he's got his camera trained on an enclosure. I'm keeping my voice down because we have a pine marten in there. Now, this particular individual, just get on hidden there. She might come back out in a minute. But we have seen her around a lot as been getting ready. Now, this is a pine marten, and there's so much hope resting on this particular individual. Absolutely gorgeous. The whole future of the species in this forest rests on this one individual. So quite a lot of pressure on her, definitely. Now, pine martens are absolutely amazing animals. They're agile, they're fierce, they're tenacious, they're clever, the list goes on. But were once widespread around the whole of the UK, but habitat loss and persecution means that their numbers have absolutely been pushed to the brink. Now, they have a few strongholds in the north of the UK, particularly in Scotland, and more recently, a few pockets of resurgence, if you like, around the rest of the country. Now, this particular pine marten is called Bela. She's a female. She's got a very distinctive orange splodge there on her bib. That's quite unusual. We've not seen something like that before here. And Bela is a one-year-old female, and so it means she's not ready to breed yet. She has been here since mid-February. She was captive bred, but she is still very much wild in her nature, very much a wild animal. And that's a really good thing because she's destined to be released. Now, pine martens will start to breed, so Bela is likely to start to breed when she's about 2 to 3 years old. Now, we do know that there is a breeding pair in a neighboring territory about 6 miles away from here, and they were released in 2020 along with a few other pine martens, and this was part of a project called Magic Mammals Project run by Dr. Craig Shuttleworth at Bangor University. And the hope is that when Bela is released, her presence here will start to help to recruit some of the offspring from the neighboring territory into this territory, into this area here, and that will help to slowly spread the pine marten population in this area. It's absolutely wonderful to see these shots, to see Bela here. And like I said, this is going to help with the Welsh population and also help to spread these beautiful animals here. Now, the name Bela actually means pine marten in Welsh, and certainly the names around this area of Wales and North Wales, places like Bris Bela, Plas Bela, all these places suggest that these forests here are very much pine marten territory. So this is the sort of area that Bela will be spreading into, and along with those other captive bred pine martens. So absolutely amazing to see. And I'll tell you what I find really extraordinary as well is that Bela is going to be released very soon. We're hoping that Steve will be there to capture her first tentative steps into the wild. And it's very likely that once she heads off into the wild, that will be the last time she's seen with human eyes, maybe caught on the occasional trail camera, but certainly we will be wishing her well and hoping so much. Now, my heart is actually beating. I'm so excited about this project. Obviously, I'm trying to keep my voice down, but Chris and Michaela, isn't that just such an amazing prospect to have pine martens in these forests in North Wales once again?
It certainly is, Gillian. Absolutely sensational, absolutely sensational. And what about the programme? Live pine marten, live white-tailed eagle, smooth snake, Dartford warbler, a sandy-ass fly flicking its eggs into a hole. That's what you pay your licence fee for.
Now, 2 weeks ago, when we were still up in the rugged woodlands of Eryri, Snowdonia National Park, we introduced you to Bela the Pine Marten. Now, we all fell in love with Bela. She was absolutely amazing. Captive bred female, very, very cute, but fierce, let me tell you, very fierce and wild in nature. Now, Bela means pine marten in Welsh, and she was bred as part of a project called Magical Mammals, funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, and this was to help recover the threatened mammal species of North Wales. And Bela next next year will be reproductively active, and the idea is to release her into the wild so that she'll attract breeding males into her territory and help to extend their range through North Wales. So a superb plan, but did it go to plan? So last week we sent our wildlife camera operator, Steve Phillips, with bated breath, fingers crossed, in the hope that we would film the release and capture her first steps into the wild. Well, step one was to open up that enclosure, a little opening there. We weren't sure whether she would be brave enough to venture out, and after a few attempts, away she went. And she was quite bold. She very quickly started to explore the immediate area around her enclosure. Now just bear in mind that every single moment from this point forward was a new experience for Bela. So even those holly leaves that she's sniffing out there, you know, you wonder whether she was surprised that they were prickly. Perhaps, we don't know, but she was very alert, very attuned to her environment, and so exciting to see Bela for the first time out in the wild. Now, I'm thrilled to be joined by Dr. Craig Shuttleworth. We saw him earlier with the red squirrels. Craig, you were also involved with Bela the Pine Marten. Now, I know these two species, their range may one day overlap. Pine martens are predators. Red squirrels are on the menu. How's this going to play out?
Well, we shouldn't be too worried. Pine martens are going to take the occasional red squirrel, but if they caused a problem, that really would be significant in terms of habitat, insufficient habitat for the reds. If you had a few reds, you could see how pine marten might have an adverse effect, but really the big win is pine marten's impact on grey squirrel. They depress grey squirrel numbers and reds recover.
Right. So they will potentially have a positive impact on red squirrel populations. Now, Craig, I know today is the first time you're actually seeing some of the release footage. For you, this is the end of, 5 years of really hard work.
Yes.
Let's just take a look a little bit more of that footage. I just want to know, how does that make you feel to just see Bela out there? I mean, for the first time in the wild.
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, beaming from year to year, it's great to see her out. So natural, so relaxed in the woodland. And it's to the credit of Richard, who's looked after her all these months. You know, she's really doing well.
Yeah, I mean, she really looks like she's so comfortable in that environment. Look at her climbing up that vertical trunk, obviously supremely adapted to this arboreal lifestyle, like a duck to water, isn't it? Look at her climbing out on that branch.
She's amazing. I mean, it's just the confidence of the animal. This is her first time out. I mean, the first steps. It's really remarkable.
And she's got that very distinctive orange patch on that pale bib. Now, is that going to be useful, do you think, in being able to keep track of her once she's in the wild?
Really useful, because part of the project is about getting people involved in monitoring these animals. So if you've got an individual with a distinctive mark, it's easily identifiable, and then they can tell us if they've seen her.
Absolutely. And I know people are going to worry that she might be lonely, but they're solitary animals, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're territorial, they live their lives basically alone. She won't tolerate another female coming into her territory. She will tolerate a male, though, and the male would overlap her and potentially a female next door. So they're not all alone, but they are pretty much on their own most of the time.
Yeah, and of course the hope is that she will eventually pair up with a male next year and start to breed and establish a territory for herself. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I feel very excited, very privileged that we've all been able to see these first steps into the wild. This is like the cherry on the icing on the cake. Amazing, amazing recovery story. Chris and Michaela, what do you make of that? Pine martens, wild in North Wales.
Fantastic stuff. Those sort of proactive conservation projects like that, which pay immediate dividends if they're appropriate, reintroductions are very, very exciting. Mass public appeal, great support from Heritage Lottery Fund as well. Thank you very much for that. It'd be nice to get them spreading out in other parts of the UK as well, though, wouldn't it?